Will you stay with me?
If your face was like, what?
I'm not doing it now.
Yo, what up, people? You are now watching Bae Phi Bae. I don't have an intro for this. I'm going to figure out an intro. But my question to you today, are you single and looking for love? Um, have you been in a serious relationship for less than 1 year, and you're looking to see how can you make it to 10? Or do you even question if marriage is legitimate in this here year of 2025? Well, those are some of the questions that we're going to answer today on Bae Phi Bae as we celebrate 17 years of togetherness. Not 17 years of marriage, but 17 years of togetherness. I am Brendan D, and this is my lovely wife,
Christiana.
What happened? That was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's shine.
Pretty smooth.
17 years, man. What did we do? What did we do for our 17th year anniversary?
Nothing.
Not a damn.
We are in the season of stewarding our time and being intentional. We're trying to build and grow and,
trying to get to the yams.
Trying to get to the yams.
Trying to get to the yams. So but we did go hang out with the kids, and it wasn't necessarily intentional. It just happened that way. Yeah. We got out with the kids, and they had Mr. Cow.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, Mr. Cow.
But we did reminisce on this is actually the area where we met, as far as when we first noticed each other after after high school, we're in our early college years.
There we go. Because we didn't meet there.
Yeah.
We met in middle school, but we first ran back into each other at that mall.
Yeah.
In that location.
That same spot.
Yeah, that same spot.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool because thank you to Will Smith for having the movie I Am Legend. Right?
I Am Legend was coming out.
Yeah. And because of him, she went to go see that with her best friend. She had just broke up with a dude. So thank you, Mr. Man, for letting that go. You dropped that ball, bitch. But I said I was gonna keep it clean. My bad. But yeah. So here we are, 17 years together, and so let's talk about some of the things, man. You can go wherever you want to go with this.
It's where do you start?
Yeah,
because there's the first year, and then there's that 3 year, and then there's that 5 year, and then there's the 7 year.
Yeah, I think. So, do we talk 17 years of being together or 12 years of marriage?
It doesn't really matter, but just what it took.
All right, let's go 17 years of being together.
Yeah.
I would say
it's all in the same a little bit.
I would say it does take a lot of work and consistent work, because soon as you don't be moving when I move. As soon as you feel like you have figured your person out and you've learned them, they start to go through another metamorphosis, and you have to learn them all over again. And some things that they may have given up, or some ways that they may have let go, those ways can come back, or those things can come back, and you just have to accept this is just who they are, right? Good, bad, ugly, and different. Some things about your person, that's just who and how they are, and you guys have to communicate to always continue to grow together. Yeah,
it's you're not gonna marry somebody or be with the same person that you met you're within your first year, because there's life challenges that happens, and so that people's perspective change, and people's sometimes people's morals and values change. So it's are you growing together? Are you going in separate directions? And sometimes you don't necessarily know what that looks like until it's you realize you're really far apart from the person that you're with, and then you're trying to figure out where did we go wrong. So it's just, you have to be intentional with like being honest and being like very transparent, because the littlest things, like it can be really big things, and it can create a huge gap. And it's like nobody knows like why the gap got that big, but nobody was being, transparent, and just being afraid to like be honest and like share like exactly how you feel. I think even with us, that took a little bit of time to like get, to that point. But I think you have to be self-aware in your relationship, and a lot of people are just not self-aware at all. Because I think even when we're going through some of the challenges that we had, I think we're very self-aware of like the other person, and like where we were at as individuals. We didn't always communicate, but it's like we understood each other a lot. So yeah, it takes a lot of like commitment to like want to be in a long-term relationship, even when things are like, you feel like all the odds are like against you. So
Yeah, I think you said a couple things when you want to be in a long term relationship, and
yeah.
I remember being like still kind of fresh, and saying like, man, I can't wait till I can say a year. Like we've been together a year,
Yeah.
and then it was I can't wait to say we've been together 2 years, and then I can't wait to say we've been together 5, and then 10, and now here we are. But it definitely does take quite a bit of commitment. And you mentioned that gap. Like there is a gap that can happen naturally if two people aren't necessarily growing in the same direction.
Yeah.
And if they're not having the same intake, right? Like somebody could be listening to a bunch of motivational videos, listening to audiobooks, or just reading books in general.
Yeah.
And if the other person isn't digesting that same amount of input, right? That same content, then there becomes a gap in just people's maturity and their understanding, and what they think, how they feel. Like you said before, morals and values change, and now my morals and values are so different from what they were, but yours are still the same. And now there's a gap. Now there's a rift, and that rift can really break couples up.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
I was waiting on you to keep going with it, but no. Do you feel like can you pinpoint a time when you may have felt that way?
Like felt what?
That there was a gap in where we were.
Oh yeah. I mean, we had gaps.
We've had gaps.
Gaps.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning, there were gaps. Gaps throughout the whole, relationship.
The whole Grand Canyon full of gaps.
But I would say, like, they weren't like major or like deal breakers necessarily. But there was always like something that had to be worked on.
And it always
what I'm saying? Yeah, there always will be. That's one thing that people don't realize is like nothing is ever gonna be like perfect. Like, what I'm saying? Like, hopefully you have more good days than bad.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be something that you have to work on, because you yourself as an individual is a work in progress. So it's almost like you're always trying to be the best version of yourself every year. 2025, new year, new me, new year, new me, right? So it's like you're always trying to be better than the last year. So it's the same thing in your marriage. Like, your marriage ain't just like one thing, one-sided, and it's just how it needs to be and how it's gonna be. It's like there's so many things that you have to like work on so that you can improve, whether that's your relationship with God, whether that's like your finances, whether that's your emotional stability, because once you have kids enter the picture, that's another like heightened emotion. There's things that comes along with that. Are you on the same page as your husband or wife on how you want to raise your kids, what they learn, what they listen to, what they watch. Like, it's always something that you have to come together with your significant other and be like, hey, okay, how do we make this better? What do we do next? What is our game plan for this year? Like, your game plan should never be the same. Like, you should always have a brand new game plan every year. So obviously that means you're going to be working and like growing towards something. So it's like, so nothing's ever going to be like, oh, we made it, we're good, we're done. Like, now we can just like ride into the sunset. No. There's always something like you're going to get hit with a wave. You know what I'm saying? A shark going to come. Like, so it's like, yeah, there's always something. Always.
I'm smiling because somebody been doing their homework.
What?
Like, you've been studying.
Well, I read 10, 12 books a year. Like, I'm always, working on myself. Like, these past, 3 years now?
Almost 4.
Yeah, almost 4 years now. We have truly been intentional about what we are intaking. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's manifesting in our relationships, whether it's not just our relationship, but like our outside relationships, family, friends, work, all of those, our children, all of those things. So it's like, yeah, like, what are you reading? What are you listening to? It's all important.
Yeah. So for you, what are you currently working on? Like, within yourself?
Within myself, I was just talking to my mom about this, yesterday? But it's just like, just being unoffendable. Like, just not easily being offended.
Yeah.
Right? Not allowing whatever somebody else got going on in their life to, like, affect me. Right? Like, I don't necessarily have to, be upset about decisions that somebody else has made. You know what I'm saying? Like, being able to, help somebody or be there for somebody, but not take on, what they have going on. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like, I'm in a unbothered, like, don't get too heightened, like, don't get so emotional about certain things that you cannot change. You know what I'm saying? Like, It happened. Okay, what is the solution? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why be mad? I was even with my with my sister the other day. Something had happened. I'm like, if this was me some days ago, like, I would have cussed all y'all out. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's like, what's the point? Like, you can't change what happened, mm-hmm. right? So it's like, so I'm in that phase of just like not allowing my emotions to dictate my actions.
And that was big of you, because people don't know, but you're a thug.
Yeah.
You come from a family of thugs.
I'm a family of thugs.
You come from convicts.
Man.
No,
I grew up that was a little rough around the edges a little bit.
No, but I thought that was big of you. Came home, we had some wings.
Mm-hmm, watched the
movie.
I was unbothered.
Yeah, it was good.
I was unfazed. Is that a word?
Unfazed.
Unfazed.
Yeah. See? One thing the audience will get to learn about you is that you make up words.
I do.
But you do it with confidence. And because you do it with confidence, we just let it go. Roll with it. But I think for me, what I'm working on right now is being a better leader of myself, so I can be a better leader of you. That's big.
I like that.
I want to start taking a lot of the burdens that you have off of you, placing them on myself. So that's I'm looking to make 2025 a year of total transition, of like taking 100% charge of all the reins and reeling this thing in, business wise, family wise, spirituality wise, like just taking it all, man. Yeah, I had a couple questions on here that
Okay.
I don't know if it really makes sense, but do you? All right, let me ask it like this: If do I even want to put me? I guess it's almost impossible to ask without implementing me. But do you value? Like, let's say that you were unmarried. You're, let's say, early 30s. You meet a gentleman, really dig each other. He proposed at 30 in 2025. Do you think marriage is even valuable anymore?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, honestly, I feel like a lot of people, like people that I know that are single and they're around my age, like that's what they want.
Mm.
But they want a committed relationship, and a lot of people still value marriage. You know what I mean? And if people really understand and do their homework on like what marriage represents, it can be very powerful. It can be a very powerful thing. So I think a lot of people still value marriage and they still want that type of love. They want that oneness. Oneness?
Yeah, that was good.
Okay.
That was good.
They do want that. They want that union, family, right? Like getting the bag together with somebody that you can trust, someone that's going to have your back. Now people will say, "Oh, you don't need marriage for that," right? But marriage is a big deal. Like it's a connection, and it's something that to me is very spiritual, as well. So, and it's like when you have children, like how we are in our children's life, because we are one, right? And how we operate and how we think and how we move and what we teach them, like that adds so much value to them, and what they see in us and what they potentially want for themselves, the vision that they have for themselves. So it's just, I think a lot of people still want that. Yeah, for sure. It's hard out there for some people. It's hard. The dating life is hard, for a lot of single people right now. But I think ultimately that's what people want. That's why you got all these different kind of shows that are out. People looking for love, and
that's true.
But
you can't trust all the shows, as we have been coming to discover recently.
That's true.
Every conversation ain't the right conversation.
Yeah.
But so okay, final question: how would you advise someone who is in a new relationship, or a young relationship, who is looking at longevity and having a significant other that they locked in for quite some time? How would you advise them of obtaining something of such?
Like someone who's single who wants that?
Single, or they've been in a relationship maybe a year, 2 years, and they like, I would want a 17-year relationship. Because, and let's keep it honest, 17 years is nothing compared to people who've been together 35, 50, 60.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's really nothing. However,
sure.
we cannot not acknowledge that 17 years is dope. And we only broke up one time for 4 months out of 17 years. Right? Yeah. You got people who've been together 20 years, but they broke up 10 times. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be like 2-3 year gaps in between. So like, yeah, you've been with her for 20, but you been with somebody else. But yeah, so like, what would you say that looks like of getting to a long lasting relationship?
I mean, honestly, it looks different for everybody, because everybody it just really depends on the person who's like asking that question.
But what would be like just the common denominator? It's just the most basic, most generalized, like key points. Everybody need to do these specific things.
Okay, so the biggest thing is you have to be very like, you have to like really love yourself. That's what I think. I feel like you really need to have poured into yourself. Like, you're not gonna be like, this perfect person, but are you a better version of yourself? Like, a woman who like wants a man to have their finances together and all that kind of stuff. Well, okay, make sure like you have your finances together, right? You want somebody that's healthy. Okay, well, make sure you're healthy. You know what I'm saying? You want somebody who's spiritual. Okay, well, are you spiritual? Like, are you, whatever you believe in, like, are you finding a better connection with that? Are you studying? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just feel like everybody should just make sure that they've worked on themselves. You know what I'm saying? To a certain degree, your emotional intelligence, right? Like, do you have a plan? Like, know what your 1 to 2 year goals are. What are your 1 to 2 year goals? It's not even necessarily like what you want in somebody else. It's like, what do you want out of yourself? And you'll attract whatever it is that you are. You're not going to attract what you want. You're going to attract like who you are. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so who are you? Would you want to date you? Would you want to marry you? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like you have to like make sure you worked on yourself, because you can say all you want, like what you want in somebody and all that kind of stuff. But if your character ain't right, yeah, you're just going to be attracting all the wrong things, no matter what's coming out your mouth. Everybody talking about manifest, say this, say manifest. What you doing? Like, what actions are you taking? Because manifestation don't move without some type of energy put behind it. So, yeah.
That gal been in them books. That gal been in them books.
Well, I learned some things too over these years.
Get you one of these. All right,
learned a lot. Just learned a lot.
No, that was really good. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. That's it.
Yeah.
We have nothing else to say today. You are now listening to Bae Phi Bae. And you ain't necessarily got to listen to us, because at the end of the day, we don't know what we're doing either. But we'll figure it out. Oh, you All right, man. Y'all have a good one. Peace.